pop this. This is a company in Dubai called Right Selection. And Right Selection, at the start of every month, everybody in the company is given 6 balloons. And they blow up the 6 balloons. And then every time something good happens, they celebrate the something good happening by popping a balloon. And they have a list that qualifies for what's good that happens. If they make a sale, if they get a nice letter from a client, if they get a new sponsor. So it's a list. You make a list of what constitutes good news. And then you have personal things on the list. I'm getting married. Well, that should be 2 balloons for the month, right? And then the first one in the company to pop the 6 balloons, they get a prize. It could be a gift card to Starbucks or wherever. Do you have Starbucks? Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen. Yeah, okay. A Starbucks or a dinner for 2 somewhere, a set of balloons, whatever it is. It doesn't matter so much what the prize is, but the point is, it helps you change your lens, change your language, and it changes your life because you're celebrating what's good. You're focused on doing good things instead of complaining about what doesn't work. And I especially like this one because so many companies have incentive programs that incentivize some people but not other people. So if you have a sales contest, for instance, there's going to be a certain group of people that will never win the sales contest. I mean, they're just not in the top 20% or whatever. Right? They may be good employees, but they're just, so that doesn't really serve it as incentive. In fact, they could even resent it. But if you come up with this kind of incentive program, it's great because even if you only pop 4 balloons, you've celebrated 4 times that month good things that you did, so everybody gets to celebrate in everybody else's celebrations. So take a close look at this one and how you could make it apply to what you do, because I think it's a great one to remind us to focus on the celebrations and the positive and not get wrapped up in what doesn't work. Okay, this on your handout, this says microwave for success or pay to play. So the concept here is that if you have something that you want to raise money for. All right, it could be something simple like a microwave, which may cost whatever it may cost, 50 dinar or whatever. And, or it could be you're raising money for a sick child, one of the employees' sick child. So it could be either extreme, or you could be to stock the refrigerator with juices galore. All right? So that's the goal. So now how do you raise that money? You raise it by rewarding behavior that you want more of and making people pay for behavior that you want less of. All right? So back to the complaining. If you're not going to sing your complaints and you're caught complaining, $2 or 2 dinar or whatever you want, whatever that figure is, goes into the fund. All right? If you want it to be casual Friday, you want to participate, $2. If you want to brag in a meeting and play the best of the best, if you want to be the person at that meeting that gets to play, that costs you $2 for the right to brag about yourself or to brag about a team member. Right? If you're caught spending too much time on the internet or on Facebook, $2. If you're lusting in your heart, oh no, that you can't really tell. That's more of an inward thing, and we all do a little of that probably. Well, maybe not all of us, but all right. So you see behavior you want repeated, pay for it. Behavior that you don't, pay for it. And then before you know it, you have a new microwave. You raise money for a good cause, or you have juice in the refrigerator at work. Okay? Kind of a fun little ritual that reminds you what behavior you want to get rid of and what behavior you want more of. Re-gifting party. So these represent 3 items that you've gotten as gifts that you probably no longer need, all right? There's that little frog mask for your kitten. I mean, how many people are going to put a frog mask on their kitten? That's something that you would re-gift to somebody else who may have a kitten. The little butt crack as a bank. I mean, maybe one of your friends needs that, or a coffee mug. I like that one. Please wait. Sarcasm still loading. That's good. All right, so a re-gifting party. So what you at different points you just have a party. It could be for any holiday at all. because it's great in inclusivity. You want to celebrate as many holidays from as many nationalities as you can. So this is an easy one to do. You say, go home and tomorrow bring in an item that you can't use anymore, just that's laying around the house. And it could be one of these items, and then you have a simple regifting party. A fun way to do it. And if you look in your storage units or your basements or wherever you keep your old stuff, we have crazy stuff, don't we? I mean, just things that, where did we get this stuff from? All right? So the next one is, oh wait, did I already give away my butt crack bank? Oh no, I got it back now. Look, good, all right, there it's back. Stupid money fund. All right, so this is to have a joy fund or a stupid money fund or for a rainy day fund. And what this is to keep some money put aside for when things get tough at the office. So if you're going through a major project and you're trying to get the thing done, then when you have money that's put aside, and that could be just the same money that before the good news, bad news kind of thing, what works, and then you'll know when the cause comes to use a stupid money fund. I had a buddy, he and I, we went to Thailand to speak in Thailand for the first time, and so we said, okay, why don't we're going to put some money aside for a stupid money fund, so anytime that one of us says, hey, why don't we do da-da-da-da-da, the other one can say, well, that would be pretty stupid. Well, we got stupid money. We have money just for doing something stupid. This is what it's made for, or a joy fund or whatever you want. And then you can spend the money. So just knowing that you can collect, we have in our office, we have a play fund. So we just put money in there for different reasons for once in a while, and we collect it, and then we look for opportunities to create experiences. All righty? So it's just knowing you have the money and then looking for ways to spend the money in a fun way reminds us to focus on the adventure, the exploration, the fun, the GPS of life. And we realize that the true spirit of laughter. No, stress is gone, just like that, repaired. You have no wife as well. Yeah, no. You think there's a link between no stress and no wife? You know, you could be onto something. Woo! No. All right, the good with the bad, I guess. I don't. And it reminds us that the true spirit of laughter encourages the belief that there is good in bad situations. And it's looking for the good that allows us to find the funny, and it's looking for the funny that allows us to find the good when other people can't. It's a matter of just turning on the GPS. And the highest form of humor is the ability to laugh at ourselves. Highest form of humor, the ability to laugh at ourselves. Because when we can laugh at ourselves, what we're saying in a sense is that we accept our flaws and our foolishness, our idiosyncrasies and our imperfections, and then people can't laugh at us. They have to laugh with us. You know, it's seeing the craziness of the U.S. election finally coming to an end and us picking a new president. It reminds me of how the candidates are always coached to appeal to the public, to appeal to the voters. And they're saying, you got to kiss a lot of babies, you got to smile a lot, and you have to have a sense of humility. Bush was always coached. He says, you're too arrogant. You need to come off as warm and humble. So his coaches are teaching him. He says, so poke fun at yourself a little bit. So he was speaking to an audience in Canada, and an interviewer asked him. He says, well, how were you received up here in Canada? And Bush said, it's one of the first countries that they've waved at me with all 5 fingers. And I'll let you think about that one for a minute. All right. Way back when John F. Kennedy was running for president, he knew the power of self-effacing humor, of bringing the humor back on yourself. He said, the issue of his family's wealth always came up. Right? He said that gave him an unfair advantage in running for the presidency. You don't hear that today. There's $2 billion spent, but it's not quite so much because they both are, but back in the day. And he said, so he started off a press conference. He said, before I start the press conference, I'd like to read a telegram from my father. And John F. Kennedy's nickname was Jack. He says, "Dear Jack, don't you buy one more vote than is absolutely necessary. I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for a landslide." And just by that little self-effacing humor, then it's hard to poke fun at the money issue anymore because he's poking fun at himself. It's a wonderful thing to do is when we're part of the fun, when we're willing to poke fun at ourselves and to share in the laughter geared at us, then people can't laugh at us. It's more inclusive. They can only laugh with us. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to poke fun at ourselves and to have a story. One of my favorite, one quick more example on Obama. After the first debate, it looked like he may have a little trouble. It was he didn't do so well in the first debate, which happened to be in my hometown of Denver. Afterwards, he was talking about how he's going to do in the next debate. Was he going to pick it up a little bit? And he said, well, I'm feeling well rested after the long nap I had in the first debate. So I should be okay for the second debate. All right? The ability to bring the humor back on yourself. Instead of letting the press grill him about how bad he did, he can now poke fun at himself, and that's immediately, you don't hear so much about it again. Right? So let's think about a time in your life when you did something that was a little bit embarrassing. I want to share one of our most embarrassing moments. See, it's a wonderful way to connect and engage with our employees and our customers. A good story to have at networking receptions or for anywhere we go is to have an embarrassing moment that we can share in situations where it's appropriate. And you'll find times where it is appropriate, but the self-effacing story immediately, that humility that we show is a great way to create that engagement and that connection, and to remind us that we don't need to take ourselves so seriously, that humor really is the ability to laugh at yourself is the highest form of humor. All right? So one of my many embarrassing moments, because I seem to have a few thousand, happened about 3 years ago. At the time, I was dating a lady in Singapore, and I was at a convention. I was speaking, and I was going out that morning for a run. So right before I went out for a run, I just wrote her a quick note on Skype. And the note read, "Headed out for an early run. Miss you, sweetie. Hugs, kisses, and a little bite on the neck." I just trying to be clever first thing in the morning. Hugs, kisses, and a little bite on the neck. Now, what had happened right before I went out for a run was I got a Skype call from a lady in France who was interested in this international speaking program that I was involved with. So she was calling to ask me questions, and so I took the call and we chatted for a little while. But what I had forgot to do is check the person I was sending Skype, because she was still on my Skype. So I wasn't really sending a message to my girlfriend. I was sending a message to the lady I just talked to that I didn't know at all. Just, "Hi, sweetie, just going out for a run, hugs, kisses, and a little bite on the neck." I mean, could you imagine getting an email from someone you don't know that you just asked a question to? And, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could take that, I guess. She could think, man, I must be pretty sexy if just talked to him for about 2 minutes and already he's writing those kind of messages. Or she could have been a little bit offended. Who knows? So her response back to me is she really didn't know how to respond, so she just wrote back, I think. She wrote, "Oh, Oh, thank you. Hugs, kisses, and a little bite on the neck right back at you.